Well, snowmobile season almost here. I figured I'd give you guys a shot of my unit that I get around the place on. This is a 2003 Skidoo Grand Touring. It's got the 550 fan engine, and although this is my first snowmobile, I'm quite impressed with this unit. It's very, very reliable. I use it for a lot of things. I tow wood out of the bush with it. The odd time I take people for tours around the property. Got a sleigh with it. I also use it for grooming trails. So to keep the trail network open, I hook a skid to the back of the unit and I pull it. Cheapest way for me to make a trail, and pretty easy in the event you hit something because you just get a new skid. Anyways, 550 fan is the engine. We can have a look at it here. So here it is here. So the 550 fan engine, basically it's a fan cooled engine, so 550 cc give or take. The benefits of a fan engine over a liquid cooled machine: this doesn't have an intercooler, which would be found under the tunnel. So this aluminum piece here, that's one piece that goes over top of the track underneath the seat. So there's no intercooler underneath that tunnel. Intercooler is normally there for the liquid cooled machines, and they require snow to be constantly thrown up at them at the intercooler in order to keep the temperature down on the machine. This being a fan cooled unit, not as important for the snowy conditions and the cooler temperatures. It's very, very reliable, as I mentioned. Carbureted machine, 2 cylinders. Keep the liquids full in the injection tank, the oil injection tank. Make sure the crankcase oil is clean, and make sure the belt's in good shape, and you're pretty well good to go. So this unit, it's an older model. Up until about 2005, the standard seating position was a bit lower, as this one is. Nowadays, when you look at machines, it almost looks like a dirt bike style seating. You're up and more forward. Although that's great, I didn't want to spend the big bucks on a new sled, and so I picked this unit up. It's got about 7,000 kilometers. A good friend of mine owned it before I did. He took really good care of it, and I've continued to do the same. So with this machine, it's great also because it's very similar to some popular models that are used for utility, like the Skidoo Scandic. Now, that thing's a lot more money if you were to price them out in the used market. So picking up this unit turned out to be a bit cheaper for me, even though it's very similar in some of the bits and pieces this one has. Right, so long track. It's got a bit of a space behind the passenger seat, which is great. I made this box unit here, and depending on what you're using your snowmobile for, I'll show you what I use mine for. So I got my chainsaws ready to go, and I cut some wood tomorrow. But basically, I built this box onto the sled so that I can do this. Get it lined up there. Kind of difficult with one hand, but there you go. So I built that so I can put my chainsaw in there and it doesn't get bashed around, and it holds it quite secure. So having that extended track, that little bit of space behind the passenger seat, allows me to do that. And then this here, it's actually not just for carrying junk. I actually have a milk crate there because I put the fuel can and the oil, the bar oil, right there. That's for another story. As I mentioned, this unit's a long track, so it allows for pretty good towing. Got that tow hook up there. Other things that's great about this machine, if you happen to be looking at a 550 fan, is it does have electric start and reverse, but it also has a backup pull start. I know some of the newer models, they don't actually have a backup pull start. Fine and dandy, however, your battery dies and you don't have some way to jump it, you got some problems. Right? So put the oil there, battery. The crankcase oil is down in behind the battery, but pretty simple machine. Let's fire her up and just see how it runs. Keep in mind the weather's been sort of up and down in terms of temperature, but usually it fires right up. That's the choke, by the way. So it runs pretty good. Some of the reasons I couldn't throttle it up a bit more, it's actually touching a bit on the ground. I usually keep the track well off the ground, and that way I come back in from a ride and I can cycle the track to get some of the snow out of there. Must be some ice chunks underneath. Anyways, another day we'll go out for a ride on it and you'll see how it goes. For me, I wouldn't want anything faster. For you, if you're into the modern Arctic Cats or even some of the newer Skidoos, some of the 800s, this won't even come close to that performance. But for me, being the first sled, I find this thing to be a rocket. Anyways, if you have any questions about it, just put them in the comments, and don't forget to come on back another time and I'll show you a video of us going out for a ride. Thanks for watching.